Hello, my name is Nicole, and thank you so much for taking the time out to listen. Today I titled this message, A Lover's False Promises. A Lover's False Promises. Well, the summer brings about all sorts of change, doesn't it? People who were in relationships back in the wintertime, relying on one another, summertime comes along, opportunities look better, and relationships fall apart. Only for someone to say, I think I'm going to go and date again. I think I'm going to see if this man or this woman is interested in me. I think I'm going to start all over again, except this time I'm not going to, and you fill in the blank. Your lover is going to make some false promises. Some of you all, you're in these relationships right now. And someone told you, well, when the divorce is final, this is what I'm going to do for you. Oh, when my money from the lawsuit comes, this is what I'm going to give you. When my relative passes away, I'm going to help you with. And some lovers, they make good on their promises. Some lovers are very much going to help out their favorite people or that single partner. But whatever the case may be, there are those individuals who unfortunately will tell their share of stories, and then later on someone is left empty-handed and broken-hearted. You cannot believe the promises of a married man who's already in a relationship with children and so forth, because things change. If you have a family, you know how surprises show up. Emergency situations. If you are that single woman or single man in a relationship that is, as you very well know, not right, immoral, can't go around and tell everybody about it, you know that you are going to at some point experience the bad news. Somebody's not going to be as close to you as they are today. But if you didn't know that, you need to continue to listen, because I'm going to tell you some other things. You cannot believe the promises of a married woman. As we all know, we go through our share of issues. We already got relationships. We already have the struggles of parenthood as well as the successes of being a parent. We got more than enough responsibilities. And so promises will be broken sooner or later over children any day. Maybe not over a man, but over children. I will tell you that there are those people right now that are being led astray from their hobbies, from their workplace settings. They're being led astray from their church, from their families, and many other things because someone or a group is holding them to their promises. Some people are wishing that they never opened up their mouth. I wish I never told this woman I was going to buy her a car. I wish I never told this man I was going to come over and see about him. I wish I never, right? And when what is in darkness doesn't want to stay in darkness, you know he or she's going to come out in the light sooner or later. This is something that some of you all, I know you're not ready for that day, but crazy going to show up one day and knock on the door of wife's house or baby mama's house or somebody's house. Crazy going to show up at the job one day when you said, don't ever come by my job. If there's anything that I need from you is not to ever come by my job. I will pay you. I will give you, but just don't go to the media. Oh, come on now. Someone has been put in this position. And so then issues arise. And those promises that the adulterer said, the best friend, the mistress, whoever said, the married man or woman, they're going to break their promise. But you told me, you said, I trusted you. I believed in you. You're going to leave me out here like this? And those who believe in helping those damsels in distress, they're going to figure out a way to take money out of savings accounts that are shared with others. They're going to figure out a way to take money from retirement. They're going to figure out a way to take or borrow money from friends and family just to keep that mouth shut that said, you promised. You promised. And some people don't really care that they break promises. They figure there's no consequence in breaking a promise. I've done it with this one and that one. And so what is it going to hurt if I do it with this one as well? I don't really like her anymore. I don't really like him anymore. But you said, I know what I said, but I'm not doing for you. I know what I said. Well, I'm going to do, well, you do whatever you need to do. I will tell you this, that I'm not going to do for you. And some of us, we've been in those positions. We've been in those positions where somebody said they were going to do something for us and ended up not doing it. We've been in those positions where people have said things like, I love you, I want to take care of you, I want to be there for you and all that. And then they turn right around and they're there for somebody else. Oh, those false promises. And when this happens, for some people, they'll say, this is such a terrible thing. I mean, somebody making a promise, whether they're a lover or not. The point is that they're making these promises and I mean, they're not keeping their word. That's just so terrible. Absolutely, it is for the one who's going through. But let me tell you something. We can turn this around and look at the good in it. There's some good. Absolutely. We can look at the good and say, God showed you who that person really is when he broke the first promise years ago. When you had to hang on and hang on some more, hoping and wishing that she would make good on what she said. It took her year 1. It took her 2 years, 5 years. Okay, now she's finally sending something. Or she's finally going to help me with this, that, and the other. Or he's finally going to... Some of them did end up making good on their promise, but look at all of the pain and the upset and the drama you went through. Others, some folks are still waiting on a check. Some folks are still waiting on some hush money. Uh-oh, I'm telling somebody's business, a very high-powered individual. You know, you want that person to just go away. You want that person to be quiet. It's over. I'm done with you. Bye. And yet they still want to call and come around. They still want to make their presence be known. They still are going around and around and around to try to get to you through your various connections. So-and-so called again. Oh, I bumped into so-and-so the other day. They said this, they said that. What is she talking about? Or what is he saying when he told me to tell you this, that, and the other? Are you in some kind of trouble? But there's a God who allowed all of this to happen to show you the truth about someone, to get you to disconnect from them emotionally, physically, sexually, materially. All of this came up so that the disappointment would shake some common sense into you. This was a connection that should have never taken place. This is a relationship that is null and void. This is a partnership that is not going to lead to marriage. Whatever this person said, whatever they promised, whatever you believe, God is showing you the truth about that individual. You could either take it or you can sit up there and keep on chasing after the wind. When the promise is finally granted, is it worth all of the pain and the suffering? 9 times out of 10, it isn't. I've been in that situation where I waited for years and finally, okay, yes, everything is falling in line, only to be disappointed over and over and over again. And of course, the one who makes the promise or many promises don't believe that they're at fault for taking back what they said. No, I'm not at fault because you should have done A, B, and C. No, I'm not going to give you everything. I'm just going to give you this little bit. But you said you were going to give me, I know what I said, but I'm only giving you this little bit because you're not worth all this other. Because once again, I wanted you to do. And then for some of you all, you can fill in the blank. Some people got their criteria. They got their rules. They got their standards. They got their boundaries. They got all sorts of stuff established to make sure that they never give you all of what they promise. Or they'll even go so far as to say, I never told you that. And you practically want to jump up out of your seat and knock them silly. You did say that. And for some people, they went so far as to record. Oh, really? I knew you were going to tell that lie one day. Play the tape. Huh? What? What you mean? Oh, you going live when this tape is rolling? I thought you weren't. Or I thought you will. People and their false promises. Once again, God is separating the wheat from the tares. All of these messages, yes. Do they sound divided at times? Yes. Do they sound like, wow, there's so much drama. I can't even keep up. Yes, because that is the society that we live in right now. We're in the last days. You might as well just keep on hanging on if you want to stay out of trouble with some folks. Now, if you want to stay in trouble with some folks, you're going to keep on believing that false promise. You're going to keep on going along with whatever they come up with to get out of giving you everything they promise. You're going to keep on believing that something special is going to happen at the end of the journey when it's going to be nothing more than more disappointment. Because, see, the writing is on the wall with people who make false promises or they intend on doing something, but they have yet to do it. Number one is that they tell lies. Okay. Lies that make it appear as if you're not so stable, not so good in your memory or what have you, on what they said. They will find a way to delete any evidence of what they promise. Okay. Get rid of, do away with, throw away with. That's why some people make copies. That's why people have recording devices and everything else. The other thing is that they're going to somehow deny they ever told you things in a way where it makes it look like you just were at fault. You should have never, could have never, would have never. They will come up with stuff to confuse you in such a way where you start thinking, well, maybe I wasn't correct in what I heard. They will turn around and blame you. They'll say that, well, the reason why I didn't end up, for instance, the reason why I didn't end up giving you such and such was because, well, you know, you said this, you did this, and you're at fault about this, and on and on. So you never get what the person told you, or you only get a little bit. I remember an individual I dated years ago. He said he was going to give me X amount of money for helping him out. The man gave less than $100. And literally what I helped him with was hundreds. Okay. And then he figured out in his own little way, he figured out what he would say, what he would do to keep from having to pay me all the money back. I learned the hard way, and from that point on, I never trusted him. Okay. Yeah, there were some things that I ended up agreeing to later on down the line to keep the peace. And then, you know, we had our share of challenges and so forth, but I kid you not, there was always this place in my heart that would never, ever trust him. Okay. And I have experienced that sort of thing where people said, no, you're mistaken. That's not what I said. You know, I remember I had to take a landlord to court behind something that he claimed he had never said, but he forgot. There was a piece of paper that he wrote a dollar figure on. And if it wasn't for me bringing that piece of paper, I probably would have ended up losing that case. You see? Making promises. Some of you all, you got to get away from those individuals who want to make those promises, but then don't deliver. I gave you this amount of time in my life to do A, B, and C. My life is short. I am not going to give you some more time in my life for you to once again take back everything you said, everything you plan on doing, but then never deliver. You see this once again early on when the person says they're going to take you somewhere and they don't take you. Whoop, we got ourselves one of those who are not men or women of words, of their words. They give you some words, but they don't stand by them. You see it early on when they make excuses. Well, what had happened was you didn't plan on spending the money. That's what happened. You claimed that we were going to go over here. You claimed you were going to do this, that, and the other, but Once again, you're canceling out on me. Either they're very flaky or they simply don't want to live up to what they said for any number of reasons. Some they may tell you about, others they may not. So now you're dealing with a deceiver who deceives you into thinking that it's one reason when in fact it's a whole other reason as to why they don't want to do certain things. Okay? So you got more than enough information. Thank you as always for taking time out to listen. You've been listening to YouTube, NM Enterprise 7. Subscribe today. If you haven't given, well, you are welcome to do just that. Please do check the description box. Blessings to you.